Hello guys, it's Mikefield here, and this is the review for Dungeons 3 Complete Collection. Remember to check out my gameplay video, the link to which is in the description below. If you'd like to see what Dungeons 3 are like, please like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this clip. Now, Dungeons 3 is in essence a city builder, which is very much based on the game called Dungeon Keeper, which you might recall from your childhood. It has some RTS elements in it as well, which we'll get to later. But generally speaking, you build and control an evil underground city with 3 races residing in it. So you have orcs, undead and demons. Each race has several distinctive units, a titan and a lot of tech available. There are upgrades for units and rooms, various types of utilities, spells, traps, anything your heart may desire. The demon race also features a lot of spells. Undead race has quite a few various magical contraptions at their disposal, and orcs have a large arsenal of traps. Now, when you're playing, basically recruit an army to fight and defend against the forces of good. So those come in various shapes and sizes and will relentlessly invade your kingdom and attack your assets in the overworld. Graphically, the game is extremely solid, by the way. It holds up to the contemporary RTS standards, as you hopefully can see. It looks similar to Warcraft 3. It has this kind of light-hearted or even dark-hearted design in this particular case. You have a ton of modes in the game. You have skirmishes with several modes of play. It's like enemy wave defense, conquest, endless mode, just to name a few. And an extensive campaign with several dozen missions in it. And the game is accompanied by a narrator's voice who makes a ton of humorous references to other games and occasionally even pulls your leg. This part is extremely well done, though a bit quirky, so not everybody might like it. The DLCs, by the way, so the complete edition comes with several DLCs, and they provide about 3 to 4 missions each, and those are particularly hard and diverse. The gameplay alone, so it's extremely engaging, I think, and throughout all the game phases it keeps you busy. The game is just super intense, and you have to make a lot of decisions simultaneously, use your money wisely, and understand the mechanics of the game to win. For example, there are quite a few small little things, such as if you set your workers to build rooms and clean up more dungeon space, they're no longer mining gold, and gold is the necessary resource for construction. So this means that every single time you start constructing something, or like basically digging a hole in the wall, which costs you virtually nothing, it actually costs you quite a lot, because potentially you would be earning gold instead. So you have to kind of take all those things in consideration, or you'll get into trouble. There is also enough variety, I believe, to warrant a lot of decision making. So you have a lot of alternatives, and what buildings you get and when, what technology you go for, what objectives you prioritize, all matter quite a lot. And your resources are very scarce overall, so you have to kind of really count every single penny that you own. The game also keeps throwing a lot of obstacles at you, right? So there are hidden monster rooms in your dungeon that you may kind of run into and get yourself in a lot of trouble. You'll be constantly invaded by heroes from the outside, and you'll also sit in trouble for your outposts in the overworld. So you have to not get overwhelmed by all this. And this means the game is actually always keeping you engaged in some sort of productive activity, right? So you have to be kind of proactive, you also have to set up your defenses correctly, you have to think about what you're doing, or else you very quickly just get destroyed by the enemy forces. Also, the enemies are getting increasingly tougher as the game passes by. So if you're not proactive, if you don't keep up, you just lose because they overwhelm you very easily, right? So you have to be ready for this kind of evolution of the enemy forces. If you are, you're probably set to go. If you aren't though, again, a lot of trouble. And you have 3 difficulty options that allow you to tailor the game to your strategic capabilities. And I actually tried playing on the highest difficulty, which was, I think, Diabolic, and this was extremely difficult, really. I was just getting overwhelmed and destroyed. So there's a lot of learning that you can do still, and in order to excel at this game, you'll really need to kind of know what you're doing very well. Now, this being said, I have to stop singing praise of this game right now and kind of go to the things I didn't like, but they were mostly very minor things. So first of all, I feel like the combat could be more transparent. The thing you have to note right now is that there are 2 types of combat in this game. In the underworld, your units basically follow your general commands, but you cannot control them directly, right? You can just kind of pick them up and drop them wherever you like in the dungeon. This means that, well, you just kind of you don't have that much control over your army. However, if you go to the overworld, so to this kind of green land above your kingdom, you actually start controlling your units in the RTS-like fashion. So you kind of control their ability use, their formation, like you can just kind of set them up, micro every single one of them. So in the overworld, this RTS combat isn't done that well because you can't really see that much. There are like speech bubbles above your units that kind of cloud your vision. I think you could kind of remove them in combat because they are just very, very annoying and they just get in the way. Also, I feel like the abilities could be a bit more diverse, though that's a relatively small thing, right? Though, especially this game focuses mostly on building the city rather than just, pure combat. Another thing, I think that the game could use some more unit types. I'm surprised because the DLCs alone, they do not add too much new stuff to the game in terms of the content. So it's quite a shame. I think they could have definitely expanded the Underlord's arsenal over time. It's a bit surprising they really didn't do this. Another thing is more furniture. So honestly, like when you build a room, you have like a very wide choice of rooms. But when you build a room, your choices as to what you put inside of those rooms are extremely limited, and I don't really like that. So I think they could have definitely done something to, make this bit of the game a bit more interesting. That's something that I think that's my major gripe of this game. They could have definitely done this better. Then more hotkeys. I am a bit spoiled in this regard because I'm a SC2 player, and SC2 has like the map hotkeys, control group management, refined ability hotkey management. Those things are just not there, and it is a bit annoying. But as I said, like you don't really control your units in the overworld that often. You usually just spend your time building your city, defending it in the underground where the control is indirect, so that's not a big issue at all. You won't be kind of running into this sort of a problem too often. Finally, spells could be on the main spell bar somewhere that you can, from where you could just constantly see and access them. I think that's kind of inconvenient that you have to kind of open up a separate menu in order to cast your abilities. Like the overlord spells that you gain from Demon Race. I think this could definitely have been done better than it is. But those are generally speaking quite minor things, except for the variety that I think they could have introduced, right? They could have added a bit more strategic choices in terms of furniture and unit types. But this being said, the game has enough to keep you playing for hours upon hours. So overall, I would say it's a very solid product. I would give it 9 out of 10. And I believe it is definitely worth the price you pay for it. So it is a modern rendition of Dungeon Keeper, and it does its job extremely well. And this being said, I would like to thank you for watching, people. Again, if you did enjoy this review, you can jump to my gameplay video, which is in the link in the description below. I also do recommend that you guys comment, like, and if you do enjoy my content overall, please subscribe because I'll have more of this stuff coming in the future. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.